We've been with Nikken about 3.5 years now, and if you had told me 3.5 years ago that I was going to be in my home filled to the capacity, I would have said, Connie, you're not having any parties here. I'm not into parties. I've always been a very low-key party kind of guy. No, I really am. I know I come off as maybe not that, but, you know, the Super Bowl's tomorrow. Now, that's important. 3.5 years ago, basically my doctor, which had been my doctor for 20 years, had a name, Dr. Mystery. Isn't that a great name? He told me that there was no more he could do for me. He had me on 11 medicines. He wanted to put me on more. They wanted to take out my prostate. They wanted to put me on cholesterol medicine. And I was living an absolute horrible life. I'd worked in the automotive industry for 43 years. And I breathed the oil, the grease, the fumes, gasoline on your hands, the brake dust, which was full of asbestos. Unknown to us, all of this existed because there was no protection for us at all. And I had accumulated just about everything. I had psoriasis, major headaches that were so bad I used to beg her to kill me. And I couldn't breathe. I had terrible congestion, sinuses that were at a point where if I went out on a nice sunny day and got the plants got me for 2 or 3 days, I would be in the house taking anything I could just to breathe. I had arthritis all over my body. My neck was gone. I couldn't sleep laying on a pillow because the arthritis was so bad in the back of my neck of years and years of telephone like this. Didn't know it was hurting me. And between what the phone did to me and my arthritis that built in from it, I had no longer had 2 joints in my neck that were serviceable. And they told me there was nothing they could do for me except 850 units of Motrin twice a day, plus countless other things I was taking over the counter. I was consuming a bottle of Melanta a day just to keep my stomach in a situation to tolerate any kind of food, potatoes, rice, all light stuff. So at this point, I said my prayers. I said, you know, Lord, I don't deserve this. I've been a pretty nice guy. So a couple of days later, he rewarded me with Bell's palsy. Now, I know I did some things in my life that I had some questions about, but I didn't realize it was that bad. So here I come up with this awful, horrible virus of my face. The only good thing about it is that after about 6 or 7 hours at the hospital, it went from you have a stroke to Bell's palsy. Well, that was pretty positive. That sounded better. But I found out there's no cure for it, no medicine for it. There's nothing. Just go home and sit down and rest. And maybe in 4 or 5 months it'll go away. But because of my age, 67, they told me that I probably wasn't going to go away, at least completely. And if it got really bad, it could go to the other side. And I don't know if anyone's aware of what Bell's palsy is, but basically it's a virus that attacks the skin, basically the face. And everything just falls. Your eye gets huge. You get like jaws. You can't eat anything because your mouth is downward. Everything just comes out. One thing my wife did like about it is I couldn't talk. Well, unknown to me, there was a miracle worker just a few doors away. And I found him through my wife taking Spanish lessons from his Korean wife. Now, I speak fluent English, and that's about it. So, my wife cancels her class with Annette the day after I got Bell's palsy. She was going to stay with me. And I was hiding downstairs in the lower place. That's why I wasn't coming out of there for 5 months, because that's what they told me to expect. So I hear, Ron, Annette's husband's a doctor, and he wants to know if you can come over tonight and see him. I said, well, all right. He's a doctor. So guess what I was thinking? He's got a medicine for me. My brain was well trained. My doctor had done a good job. So I said, sure. He's got something my hospital didn't have because they didn't want to give it to me. So I went over that night, and just like what's happening here, I got introduced to Nikken. But I got to tell you something. I wasn't expecting Nikken. I was expecting a medicine. And when I got Nikken, I go, what the heck am I doing here? You know, I'm sick. You know. So the first thing they hand me is a glass of water, and I said, no way, because after lunchtime, I didn't drink water or any liquids, because the rest of the night, I kept company with the toilet. So I told Dr. Jackson at the time, I cannot drink the water. And Dr. Jackson says, yes, you can. You are so dehydrated that you're going to absorb it, and you're probably not going to go to the bathroom. And I said, well, all right. So I started drinking the water, and Annette was pouring it as fast as I could drink it. They put me on just about everything, and I won't go into that detail now because it's stuff you don't understand, but you will eventually. So I went home with the understanding that Nikken could probably help me. Basically, this is what transcribed. For 20 years, I went to a hospital that did as best they could for me, and for 20 years, I got sicker. What was a couple of months doing Nikken, maybe a year, out of my life going to make a difference? It wasn't doing any good the other side. And I got news for you guys. I've gone twice to the hospital to stop breathing. My wife got me to the hospital in time to get me saved. So I figured, what the heck? I'll go ahead and try this. So I called the doctor the next morning, and we purchased everything. But this lovely lady right here got involved in our life. She had bought the Complete Wellness Home a couple weeks before, and it had been delivered to the doctor's home. And it was exactly what I needed. So there was a reason for me to have gotten Bell's palsy. So she was kind enough to let me have her box. Don't you cry on me now, because it takes everything I can do to... You guys don't know. Shame on you. And shame on you for telling me to look around the room. Anyhow, she let me have her wellness home. God dang it. 7 days after starting on the products, my Bell's palsy was gone. Holy mackerel. 7 whole days. I went to the calendar and I went, that can't be. I counted the days. 7 days, and I was well. God. So, I kept taking everything, and I followed the doctor's instructions. Within 8 months, I was off almost all my medicines. By the end of 9, I was off all of them. There's a picture over there of my wife and I. Last August, I did the Wharf to Wharf run at 70. I couldn't walk hardly at 60. I ran at 70. You guys got to understand something. This works. You got to open up your hearts, and you got to look at it, whether it's just water or whatever it is. You got to look at this, because I have news for you. This is from heaven. As far as I'm concerned, this is from heaven. It's a blessing, because I'm now 70, and I'm better than I was when I was 40, because then I was taking medicines also. I'm not taking anything anymore. I'm up in front of you people, and I love it. I love it that you're here, because if I just touch one of you and you get better, it's a payback, because I owe. Thanks.